The hum of fluorescent lights flickered quietly above the polished floor of the private aviation terminal at Falcon Gate, one of the quieter but high-security wings of the Los Angeles International Airport. The sun had just begun to rise beyond the skyline, bathing the tarmac in a pale gold shimmer, casting long shadows across the gleaming private jets lined in order like sleeping giants. At exactly 9:19 a.m., a woman entered through the side entrance of the terminal. She moved with quiet purpose, her steps calm and even. She wore worn gray sneakers, slightly faded jeans, a simple black zip-up hoodie, and carried a large canvas tote bag that bulged with what looked like paperwork and maybe a sandwich in a foil wrap. To the two staffers behind the sleek granite counter, she looked entirely out of place. One of them, a man in his mid-30s named Ryan, glanced up and instinctively leaned forward. The woman walked up and spoke in a clear but soft voice. "Good morning. I have a 10 a.m. departure. Jet's on runway 4. The woman behind the desk, Vanessa, squinted slightly. "Name, please." "Elena Ramirez." Vanessa paused, her fingers momentarily frozen over the keyboard. "Elena Ramirez?" she repeated, suspiciously. "As in, Ramirez Global Logistics?" "Yes." The man, Ryan, let out a short chuckle and raised an eyebrow. "You're that Elena Ramirez?" "Yes." Ryan leaned in a little, lowering his voice to what he thought was a friendly warning. "Look, I don't want to be rude, but we've had some people try to sneak through this terminal before. It's happened. You need credentials or a pilot code." "I have both," Elena said simply. She reached into her tote and pulled out a neatly folded FAA document with embedded codes, verifications, and clearance approval. She handed it to Vanessa, who hesitated for a moment before snatching it. She examined it, blinking. It was legitimate. Not just legitimate, it was VIP level. Priority departure clearance. Owner level designation. Vanessa handed the paper back, but said flatly, "You just don't look like the type who flies private." Elena didn't respond. She didn't flinch. She only offered a polite nod, turned to the side, and sat down quietly in one of the lobby chairs beside the window. She crossed her legs and pulled out her phone. The silence in the room was awkward, the kind that made people fidget with pens or suddenly become fascinated with their computer screens. Ryan leaned toward Vanessa and muttered, "Should we just tell her to wait in the public lounge until this is sorted?" Vanessa half nodded, but didn't follow through. Something about the document had made her uncertain. At 9:58, the doors to the tarmac opened. A crew of 3 ground staff emerged from the hangar. They were prepping the incoming jet, a sleek, polished white Gulfstream with a gold emblem of RGL, short for Ramirez Global Logistics, etched just beneath the cockpit window. It glistened in the sunlight like a pearl. The jet taxied in slowly and came to a full stop directly in front of the terminal. The pilot stepped out, walked briskly across the tarmac, and entered the building. He looked directly at Vanessa and Ryan. "Is Ms. Elena Ramirez ready?" Ryan blinked. "Wait, you're here for her?" "Yes," the pilot confirmed. "Owner's priority. Everything's been pre-cleared. We're ready to board when she is." Vanessa's lips parted, but no sound came out. Elena stood, zipped her tote bag, and approached the terminal door. Ryan stammered, "Miss Ramirez, about earlier." "It's fine," she said, her voice steady and low. "You didn't recognize me. But it wasn't about me, was it? It was about the shoes. The hoodie. The skin." Ryan lowered his gaze. Elena paused at the doorway. She looked back just once. "Next time someone walks in here looking too simple to fly private," she said gently, "remember this moment." And then she walked out. The sound of the jet engines starting up filled the terminal as she stepped onto the tarmac and was escorted onto her jet. The polished staircase reflected her figure as she climbed. Unbeknownst to her, a maintenance worker from the neighboring hangar had been watching the exchange. He had recorded a short clip, no audio, just Elena stepping onto the jet with the company logo shining behind her. He uploaded the clip with a short caption. "Airport staff laugh at woman in hoodie. They stop when her jet shows up. She owns it." The video exploded online. Overnight, it racked up millions of views. The comment section became a symphony of praise and disbelief. "Filipina excellence doesn't shout," one comment read. "It lands on the runway and keeps walking." "Imagine laughing at someone who literally owns the sky you're standing under," another said. Elena never posted about the incident. She had other priorities. While the internet buzzed, she was already mid-flight reviewing logistics contracts for emergency medical supply chains. Hurricanes had battered parts of the southeast coast, and she was working on deploying advanced drone systems to deliver aid into areas cut off by flooding. Elena wasn't a stranger to being underestimated. Born to immigrant parents from the Philippines, she had grown up in a small apartment above her parents' modest restaurant in San Diego. She had delivered takeout meals at 15, often barefoot and worn flip-flops. During college, she cleaned hospital bathrooms at night and attended engineering classes during the day. She didn't wear designer brands. She didn't travel with an entourage. She rarely even let others handle her schedule. Because Elena believed in doing the work, silently, thoroughly, and without apology. Later that evening in New York, during a dinner meeting with development partners from the Netherlands and Singapore, one of them casually asked, "Why do you still travel alone? No PR team? No assistants?" Elena smiled faintly and took a sip of her coffee. "Because I get the most honest version of people when they don't know who I am. And because I don't need to be seen to make an impact." She opened her folder and began her presentation on a new emergency logistics hub proposal in Jakarta. No one laughed now. A week later, Elena returned to the same terminal in Los Angeles. Same jeans, same sneakers, same tote bag. But everything else was different. A new staff member greeted her at the counter, a young woman named Clara. She smiled warmly. "Good morning, Ms. Ramirez. Your jet is prepped and waiting. We're honored to have you with us." Elena smiled back. "Thank you." She didn't mention what had happened last time. She didn't need to. The look in Clara's eyes told her that change, however small, had already begun. And that was enough. Because Elena had always believed that respect should never be tied to wealth, attire, or title. It should be rooted in simple human decency. As she walked onto the tarmac once more, this time there were no scoffs, no chuckles, no doubt. Just a quiet awareness that sometimes the most powerful people in the room are the ones you'd never expect. And sometimes the sky belongs to the woman in sneakers,